guys, it's Izzy here, and today I am going to be doing my March book haul, showing you all of the books that I acquired this month. And as always, I have to explain that I am allowed to buy as many books as I read the month before. So this month it was 12 once again, and that doesn't count books I get for free, like in little free libraries or whatever. Books that were gifted to me, and my book of the month books only count as one book because technically I only paid for one of them. Now let's get into this video. We're going to start with the ones I've purchased the most recently, so I can still technically buy 2 more books this month, and if I don't end up buying 2 more books this month, I will just add those 2 on to April, which is like, oh my gosh, I could be adding more books. This is so much fun. But I did go to Tractor Supply Company for the first time ever. I know that's probably going to shock some people because I loved it. Been around here for a while. People when I was in high school were like obsessed with this store, and I can totally understand why I had a grand old time there. And they have a book section. These are like reference books, so again, they are not counting towards my goal. Y'all are probably like, what is the point of having rules then? I don't know, it just makes me feel good. These are, as I said, reference books, so if I ever want to know about a certain herb or crystal, I'm going to look at them. But I am going to add these books to my like short story section, so where I read just a little section of a book a day. So the first one I have here is the Illustrated Crystallary, and it includes 36 oracle cards. So this is guidance and rituals from 36 magical gems and minerals. This is by Maya Toll and illustrated by Kate O'Hara. I feel like I've and another book that was illustrated by Kate O'Hara. I'll have to look, but this is what it looks like. And they had a lot of like crystal books, herb books. So a lot of stuff that I would like to check out, but my dad was like, get 2 of the 3. So these are the 2 that I got. So I got that one. Then I got the like companion one that is the Illustrated Herbitary. And it also includes 36 oracle cards. This is guidance and rituals from 36 Bewitching Botanicals, again by Maya Toll, and illustrated by Kate O'Hara. So this is what this one looks like. And I've always wanted tarot cards, but I just haven't found any in store because I've been looking for a while. So I have some oracle cards, which I've heard oracle are more positive cards. I have been reading about oracle cards and how to do it and all that fun stuff. Now I did go to Charlotte, North Carolina last week because sports betting has become legal in North Carolina, and I literally live like 30 miles from the border. So I was like, I'm gonna go over there and play some bets, have some fun. And while I was there, I was like, we're in the nice suburbs of Charlotte. I'm sure there's some free little libraries, and there were. I went to 3, 4, 5, I don't know. I went to quite a few, and I dropped off the rest of a box of books that I was unhauling. So it was great to do that, to have more room for the books that I'm currently unhauling. But I did pick up 2 books at the little free libraries, and there's some that there's one, it was an arc of a book that I regret not getting, but I justified, I was like, it's an arc. Yeah, that's how I justified it. I got Songs of the Exile by Kiana Davenport. This is a historical book. I had never heard of it before. So this is in this epic original novel in which Hawaii's fierce, sweeping past springs to life. Kiana Davenport, author of the acclaimed Shark Dialogues, draws upon the remarkable stories of her people to create a timeless, passionate tale of love and loss, tragedy and triumph, survival and transcendence. In a spellbinding, sensual prose, Song of the Exile follows the fortunes of the Mihuna family and the odyssey of one resilient man searching for his soulmate after she is torn from his side by the forces of war. From the turbulent years of World War II through Hawaii's complex journey to statehood, this mesmerizing story presents a cast of richly imagined characters who rise up, magnificent and forceful, redeemed by the spiritual power and the awesome beauty of their islands. So I had to pick this up because I had been talking to my dad like just before about Pearl Harbor and the history of the Hawaiian Islands, of how they weren't really a state yet, and I thought that was extremely fascinating. And then I saw this book at the first book box that we went to that was a historical fiction set in Hawaii, so I was like, yep, we're getting that. And then I got a hardback, which is super exciting, and it's Haven by Emma Donoghue. I need to stop by Emma Donoghue books, so this one was free, so I justified it as that. But all of her books intrigue me so much. I own several of them, and that's the thing. I'm like, I've not even read any of them yet, so I really need to stop buying them, because I've made that mistake with authors in the past where I will buy a ton of their books and then end up not liking the first one, and then I read the second one and I'm like, I didn't really like that, so why do I keep buying books by that author? And hopefully that's not the case with Emma Donoghue, but this one I had to get. So 3 men vow to leave the world behind. They set out in a small boat from an extraordinary island their leader has seen in a dream for an extraordinary island. With only faith to guide them, featuring her trademark world building and psychological intensity, Haven is a story like nothing Emma Donoghue has written before. So in 7th century Ireland, that's what really gripped me, was that setting. A scholar and a priest called Art has a dream telling him to leave the sinful world behind. Taking 2 young monks, young Tryon and old, an old Carmack, he rows down the River Shannon in search of an isolated spot in which to found a monastery. Drifting out into the Atlantic, the 3 men find the island now known as Scalig Michael, an impossible steep, bare rock inhabited by tens of thousands of birds, and claim it for God. In such a place, what will survival mean? I love stories of survival, and that setting sounds amazing. In Charlotte, I also went to Target. I don't know why. We really just wanted to get steps in, and it was a rainy day, so we did that in Target. And I got the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is a local author. Like, this was a lot of people's favorite book from last year. And I'm like, Ashley Poston is from South Carolina. She went to the University of South Carolina, so it's so cool. And that just instantly makes me like her more. And so as I kept seeing it in people's favorite books of the year video, that's what made me pick up this book. I also own another book by Ashley Poston that I have not read yet. So me doing that again. This is a romance novel, but it has a bit of a twist, as it is the Groundhog Day trope, kind of. And it's this apartment that the girl inherits from her aunt, and some days when she goes in, it's 7 years in the past. And some days, I think when she goes in the apartment, it's 7 days in the past, and the outside world is the modern timeline. And that sounds super intriguing so when it's 7 years in the past, she's seeing the guy who lived in the apartment 7 years ago and falls in love with him, and then they meet again in the modern timeline. And I have no idea how that's going to work, and I hope that Ashley Poston does a good job with it, because it sounds like it could go very wrong, but it also sounds like it could be really good. And this is a book I had been looking at my Target forever. It said they had in stock, but I could never find it in the store, but I was able to find it at the one in Charlotte. The way to Charlotte, I stopped at Goodwill in Indian Land, South Carolina. My dad had some things to drop off there, and then I went inside and I bought several things, but this is the book that I got, and that is Freedom, a novel by Jonathan Franzen. This is another author who I want to buy a lot of his books, but I haven't, but now I can, because I read Crossroads and loved it, so I do trust this author. So this is Patty and Walter Berglund were the new pioneers of Old St. Paul, the gentrifiers, the hand-on parents, the avant-garde of the Whole Foods generation. Patty was the ideal sort of neighbor who could tell you where to recycle your batteries and how to get the local cops to actually do their job. She was an inevitably perfect mother and the wife of Walter's dreams. Together with Walter, an environmental lawyer, commuter cyclist, total family man, she was doing her small part to build a better world. But now in the new millennium, the Berglunds have become a mystery. Why has their teenage son moved in with the aggressively Republican family next door? Why has Walter taken a job working with Big Coal? What exactly is Richard Katz, alt-right rocker and Walter's college best friend and rival, still doing in the picture? Most of all, what happened to Patty? Why has the bright star of Barrier Street become a very a very different kind of neighbor, an implacable fury coming unhinged from the street's attentive eyes? Yeah, I love his character work and think that this one sounds fantastic. I do plan on doing a video in July that has to do somewhat with astrology, and one of the books that kept coming up when I was looking up certain things was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, which I thought I owned this book, but I could not find it anywhere. It's not listed on my Goodreads, so who knows? And I got for 20% off. So this is a thriller. Meet the residents of number 12, Rue des Amants, a beautiful old apartment building in the city of light. The socialite, the nice guy, the alcoholic, the girl on the verge, and the concierge. Everyone's a neighbor, everyone's a suspect, and everyone knows something they're not telling. See you in Paris. And I love the pink and black. I love pink and black together. One of my favorite color pairings. And I saw this book because it was nominated for the Booker Prize. It was long listed. And then Caitlin from Bandy's Books, she talked about it on her channel. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to get my hands on that. So I could not find it at Barnes & Noble. But so I couldn't find it there and anywhere else. That's like the only bookstore in my town. And so I had to end up buying it on Amazon. And that is All the Little Bird Hearts by Victoria Lloyd Barlow. This is set in Italy in the 1980s. So y'all know Italy, give me. And it has a lot of autism representation when obviously autism I feel like is talked about all the time now, but we never really, or I don't know, I wasn't in the 80s, but it wasn't really as prevalent back then. So I thought that would be really interesting to see how the author goes into that. But let's see what the back of the book says. So a page-turn psychological drama, All the Little Bird Hearts, is an extraordinary, often witty glimpse into the mind of an autistic woman and a remarkable debut by an author who is herself autistic. So it's on Voices. It is also an astute portrait of a woman coming to terms with the meaning of love, of motherhood, and of authenticity, and a poignant reminder why accepting ourselves can be so freeing. Oh my gosh, it can be. Yes, and I love the color of this cover with the bird and everything. I think it's really like nice and soothing. On to our final stack of books. Last month I read the second book in the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy, so I went ahead and picked up the third book, and that is The Score. And let's see, so he knows how to score on and off the ice. Okay, and then, so Allie Hayes is in crisis mode. With graduation looming, she still doesn't have the first clue about what she's going to do after college. To make matters worse, she's nursing a broken heart thanks to the end of her long-time relationship. Wild rebound sex is definitely not the solution to her problems, but gorgeous hockey star Dean De Laurentiis is impossible to resist. Just once, though, because even if her future is uncertain, it sure as heck won't include the king of one-night stands. What kind of trope is that? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what kind of trope that is. Then I have like 4 Book of the Month books because they're doing their Book of the Year award in March this year, and since I'm a best friend with them, I was able to get one of the nominees for free, and then I was able to get other books for free because of credits on my account and all of that. And then I had to pay $10.99 for one of them. But the one that was nominated for the Book of the Year that I was most interested in was Shark Heart, A Love Story by Emily Habeck. This is a romance, magical realism, which again sounds really intriguing. Here were all the finalists for the Book of the Year, and then the one that won was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Now, this is a gorgeous debut novel of marriage, motherhood, metamorphosis, and letting go. This intergenerational love story begins with newlyweds Rin and her husband Louis, a man who over the course of 9 months transforms into a great white shark. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that one, but out of those choices, it was the one that intrigued me the most. Then in March, I have been focusing on reading historical fiction. So my list of historical fiction books has gone down. There's still a ton, but of course I had to add more. And I got Bronze Drum by Fong Naigun, and this is a novel of sisters and war. So gather around, children of Chudian, and be brave, for even to listen to the story of the Chung sisters is in these troubled times, a dangerous act. So Bronze Drum is based on the true story of the Chuang sisters, shared down through generations for thousands of years, about these warriors and champions of women in Vietnam who herald a new period of freedom and independence. And this is like ancient history. I don't know a lot about ancient history in Asia, so I really am intrigued by that. And then I got a book that you've probably seen in so many videos this month if you watch BookTube, and that is A Fate Inked in Blood. So this is Saga of the Unfated, Book 1, and this is by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a Norse mythology inspired romance novel. So a shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. Then just another book that I was intrigued by and was one of my anticipated releases of the year is Anita De Monte Laughs Last by Xochitl Gonzalez. Sorry I had to pause for a minute. Both of my dogs were barking. If it was just my outside dog, that would have been fine, but Penny was barking too, and she is part beagle, so therefore she doesn't know how to be quiet and chill out. But we were talking about Anita De Monte. So this is a mesmerizing novel about a first-generation Ivy League student who uncovers the genius work of a female artist decades after her suspicious death. And of course, I did go on my monthly Barnes & Noble trip. Love that place. And I picked up 2 poetry collections. Might even be 3, but I'm counting as 2. And the first one is Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Peppernell. And this is a collection of poetry and prose about heartbreak, love, and raw emotions. We all go through that. It is divided into sections to read when you feel you need them the most. Make a cup of tea and let yourself feel. Yes, let yourself go through all the emotions, because if you keep all that bottled up, it is not good. You will snap eventually. I've been there. Just let your emotions roll through you and get them out when they need to get out. Poetry collection I got is actually 2 books, and that's why it's like in the plastic. So this is Beautiful Sad Eyes and Weary Waiting for Love by R.M. Drake and R.H. Sin. So it's a poem told in 2 parts. Beautiful Sad Eyes explores the romance of melancholy, while Weary Waiting for Love shines light on the resilience of optimism and peace. This unique and earnest collection from best-selling poets R.H. Sin and R.M. Drake can only be found in this beautifully designed box set. Enter here as they bring you face to face with the reality. In order to break through, you must first have the courage to break down. Then in February, I read Archer's Voice. So I don't know if this is like an actual series where they are all like connected in a sense. I'm not exactly sure. But the second one is Most of All You by Mia Sheridan. So a broken woman, a man in need of help. Only love can mend a shattered heart. So Crystal and Gabriel never imagined that the world, which had stolen everything from them, would bring them a deep love like this. Except fate will only take them so far, and now the choice is theirs. Harden their hearts once again, or find the courage to shed their painful past. Lastly, I saw this book last month at Barnes & Noble and had been thinking about it a while, so I was like, I've been thinking about it a month. I'm gonna buy it, and that is Possession by A.S. Byatt, and this was actually winner of the Booker Prize. So this is a stunning literary sensation. Possession is an exhilarating novel of wit and romance, at once an intellectual mystery and a triumphant love story. Is the tale of a pair of young scholars researching the lives of 2 Victorian poets. As they uncovered their letters, journals, and poems and tracked their movements from London to Yorkshire, from spiritualist seances to the fairy-haunted far west of Brittany, what emerges is an extraordinary counterpoint to passions and ideas. So I love that it's about creative people because they're poets, and then all those locations really are what I'm into, like the fairy-esque and all that. It's great for springtime. Those are all of the books that came into my possession in the month of March 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a bunny emoji in the comments below. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!